Hello, welcome everyone. It is January 14th, 1942, and we're back with another turn of Yamamoto's Folly. First off, it looks like the invasion task force, the bombardment task force off of Adak Island is back and encounters our motor torpedo boats, sinking several of them, but hopefully wasting a little bit of their ammo. And they encounter a second group of motor torpedo boats, also at the island. And again, this is going to lead to my motor torpedo boats being sunk, but hopefully them wasting a little bit of ammo before they bombard the Hex later today. Yet again, this time in the daylight, more of my motor torpedo boats are going to be sunk. Yeah, looks like 3 more of them are going to go down. That's fine. They're just here as ablative armor, so to speak. Making him waste some ammo before the bombardment later today. Ooh, so that was close. S-39, which is a older Allied United States submarine that has working torpedoes, narrowly misses our CVE here south of Cameron Bay. That's part of the escort group. I do have a couple of ASW groups here too. And I'm a little disappointed that they didn't find the submarine first, but it's all right. Wow. Just continue to have this combat here. A couple more of my motor torpedo boats sunk. And the I-104 tries to put a torpedo in the side of the DE Sutledge, but misses. And we're on to the AM air phase, so a little bit of combat near Adak. Some sub-action happening, and we're now onto the air phase. I'm just going to skip over these sweeps here. Here we actually have one little action over Port Moresby, taking out a Buffalo with no loss. And here we started to really go after the ground units at Kwangshawan with a heavy bomber force, and do good damage, 245 casualties. Our ground forces are 1 hex away, so we're going to continue to pound Kwangshawan until they're there to hopefully make it easier for them to take the hex. Still doing a little bombing here, but not inflicting a lot of damage on the Chinese. Still going after Rangoon as well, softening that up before our attack later today. Lose a Betty to flak, unfortunately. Oh, and a rogue Sally squadron decides to go after Prom instead of Rangoon and runs into some Buffaloes. So we're going to have to check on its mission to see why it did that. Okay, and this is interesting. Looks like a sweep. Yeah, a sweep at 15,000 feet of some D-520s, which is a French, actually pretty modern French fighter. Pretty capable, good stats. Looks like it's flying from Akyab, so we know that Akyab needs to be our next bombing target. I imagine he probably has some lightning squadrons here as well, flown by the AVG. So this could be a problem if he begins to build this base up too much. Also, Chittagong is within range to fly lightnings as well. So I sweep to Jilitap because of these B-33-9Bs that took out so many of my Bettys the other day, and these Zeros are going to come and extract a little measure of revenge. There we go. 6 destroyed to no loss. Once again, doing some damage to the Kagayan airfield here. Damaging a couple B-17s on the ground. And damaging even more heavy bombers on the ground. Another sweep over Port Moresby, and we take out another Buffalo. And onto the PM airphase. Nels are taking on the Chen with flak here. We lose 2 of them above Rangoon, and they do very little damage. One of our carrier task forces here is bombing the runway at Balikpapan. We saw quite a few bombers and fighters here, so we just want to get ahead of that and start to shut this airfield down. We don't do a whole lot of damage. We also go after the port here, putting a bomb in the 80 Blackhawk. So not the best attack. There is severe storms in the Hex, though. That kind of segues into the issue of weather. The way that weather works in War in the Pacific is a little bit complicated. It's not super complicated, but there's a couple things that you need to be aware of. So, one is that there's always an element of randomness in the weather. It can indicate that it should be clear in the Hex and clear in the overall theater, and you can still have storms in an individual Hex or rain or whatever else. Likewise, you could have thunderstorms indicated everywhere and still have it be clear. So there's 2 different weather indicators. There's a weather indicator for the theater, so the entire map is kind of broken up into these sections. And so you can tell, hey, this section is going to have clear weather, and this other section is going to have thunderstorms. But then you actually go to the individual bases, and it'll give you a more specific weather report for the individual base. However, when the actual weather over the base is determined for that day, it can vary quite a bit. If it says thunderstorms in the theater, it's much more likely that you're going to have thunderstorms in the individual Hex. But again, things can vary quite a bit. In any case, only light damage here. Thunderstorms, of course, above Rangoon as well. Which is why we're not having a lot of luck with our bombers today. Lose another Betty to flak, but destroy 3 squads. And destroy 4 more squads. Mavises, once again, go after these ships that are looking to bombard Adak Island, and she puts 2 bomb hits in the Colorado. Isn't going to do any damage, but probably scratches the paint a little bit. It's really symbolic more than anything. And we take out some more squads here, or disable them. Lose another Betty to flak. The flak has just been really, really vicious today. But we take out a Banshee on the ground, which is always good. And that looks like it for the airface. So, Piratejoe Horbaru, he has moved everything out of the Hex. So we take the base. That's good. So only Singapore is left. Of course, we got to take care of Mir Singh as well, but it's really a side objective. Singapore is the prize, right? And a shock attack here in this hex that we found this unit in yesterday. We get 17-1 with that shock attack. We do take 209 casualties, but he takes 2,662. So beat this unit up pretty badly, and I should be able to follow right along into that hex and continue pushing him back. Also deliberately attack up here, get 2-1 odds, and forces this unit back across the river. A shock attack at Singkawang hopefully didn't. Yep, it worked. Good. I had to get my AV high enough, so we get a 2-1, and we do 0 forts. Still take a lot of casualties, 500, but he takes 2,000 some. Lots of combat squads destroyed. Look at all those vehicles destroyed. Wow. So that kind of motorized Dutch unit is pretty beat up now, and he retreats along the road, and we'll be able to follow him and take Pontianak. This is great news because now we can start building up the airfield at Singkawang, supporting our activities in this area off the coast of Sumatra. Further bombardment at Bataan. Hopefully get a decent result here. And start to degrade his units just a little bit more. That's the plan. And it doesn't really work out, so instead we lose lots of guns, vehicles, and he just has 2 disabled combat squads. Definitely not the way that we wanted this to go. We can see he has about 1,000 AV in the hex. We have about 3,300. We're definitely going to need to starve him out and do a lot of bombardments here to lower his AV before we really make any progress. And I attacked deliberately at Rangoon. This is where we've been bombing the entire time. He does have a decent amount of combined AV between all these different groups, but I'm hoping all this bombing has disrupted them enough that it's enough to take the hex. But we don't know. We'll see. Nope, it's a 1-2, and we do not reduce the forts, so that's unfortunate. He does lose more combat squads than we do, but we have a lot disabled, so we'll wait, and when some of these disablements are taken care of, we'll attack again. We'll also continue to bomb the hex and to continue to degrade these troops. So, not the result we wanted to see on our first attack, but you see that we have about twice the AV, but when it comes to the adjusted AV, due to the forts, we're not quite there. So they attacked deliberately here, north of Nanyang. He does have a lot of AV, but I think it's a bad idea for him to do this. I think he's going to get beat up a little bit. We'll see. Yeah, he does. It's a 1-3. I lose 456. He loses 6,063. So definitely in my favor there. I do have quite a few combat squads destroyed, but he has more. And the shock attack at Changsha. $29-1. And my units continue to get absolutely pummeled here. That looks like it for the turn. So I'm glad we took Singkawang. Some of our other combats could have gone a little bit better, but we're making good progress in China despite the Changsha pocket. And I do have a air headquarters here. Actually, I think it moved into Singkawang this same turn, so we have torpedoes in the area. Hopefully be able to fly against some of these ships that are hanging around here with torpedoes and sink a few. That'd be nice. What else is going on? Got a carrier task force down here just to see if he decides to play around with his small carrier task force that poked its head around this area recently. I have another carrier task force up near Wake Island. It's gonna go see if these ships decide to hang around. Looks like he has carriers here. I did not expect that. Interesting. Interesting. I only have 4 carriers in this task force, so that could be tricky. Interesting thing is that he did not bombard. I'm not sure if it's because his intention was not to bombard, he just wanted to hang out with this hex, but it's interesting. You know, they say carriers, but I don't believe it, because our Mavises have been flying attack missions against this task force, and there's been no cap. Again, a little disappointed at our results at Rangoon, but that's okay. We'll continue to bomb, hopefully in some better weather, and reduce these troops a little bit more. Let's look at the Butcher's build today. So, kind of a split day in the air here, 23 to 25. He loses 11 of those B-33-9Ds, though I lose a lot of Bettys to flak. 0 losses at 4 are sustainable, so that's great to see. And he loses some Buffaloes, and of course I lose some Sallies to anti-air due to a squadron here not flying the right mission. What's wrong with you? There we go. Commander discretion. We don't want that. You need to go here. Sorry about that. Segue. That squirrel moment there. And these are our MTBs that we lost last turn. Only 1 point each. Not a huge loss. Not a huge loss. Well, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the Discord. Take care, everyone.